Hello. How's everybody doing today? Hold on. I'm trying to do things. My brain's not working. Kind of tired. Here goes my Discord again. Hold on. Didn't I mute some shit? What's fucking doing it now? That's muted. That's muted. I don't know. Maybe it's this one I need to mute. This one. Any chats that they're going to talk 4,000 times? Oh my god, it's still popping up. Like, I'm trying to mute all the chats. And I think I successfully. Nope, something's doing it. That's this. Mute. Alright. Stupid thing. So, how's everybody's day? It's very hot outside here in hell where I live. Did you guys know that? It's super hot. I am so tired. Oh, holy moly. Guess what today is? It's Juneteenth. I'm so excited about that. I really am. Like, I think that this was an amazing thing. I wish it would have happened sooner. And I'm not saying that it fixes anything. All I'm going to say is that it's a step in the right direction in a still very long journey. And that is true. There's a lot of things we need to change. I'm going to put the Juneteenth flag, if I can. Oh, what the hell? Oh, why it's giving me freaking trouble here. It's crazy. That's my background. Where is it? Do. All right. Now I'm going to take this thingy and then go into this thingy. And then I'm going to go over here. I'm in the wrong channel. And then I'm going to go somewhere else. Where the hell am I? This is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. I'm going to pin this shit to the top. Look at all the mods are here. Oh my god. All the mods. Everybody I made a mod yesterday. Tracy, oh, I'm sorry. You're one that's just not like the other. I went madness last night with the wrenches. I was like, I don't have any mods. Here, I'll just give them out. Do you want a mod too? Here. There you go. Now you're a mod. Now everyone's the same until more people show up. Do. Bella Lee. Who the hell's Bella Lee? Is that Bella? Is that Ella? No, what the hell? Hi, Bella. Yeah, just don't be like Unc and go batshit crazy and start just deleting people for no reason. So yeah, oh shit. I don't know what's going on with this thing. For some reason, when I go do this GA awesome bot thing on my Discord isn't showing what it to everybody else. I gotta fix it. When I'm curious about something last night, when one of us deleted a message, were you able to click and read it? I don't know. You're not Ella or Bella. You're Lisa. Well, hi, Lisa. I just saw Bella Lee. That's your name on here. Holy moly. Oh, I'm so tired today. I don't know why. I'm going to blame Heather. That's okay, Tracy. That's okay. All right, let me see. I got to figure out why this thing is not working. Because I don't want people to type in there. So I made it view channel. They're not allowed to manage it. They're not allowed to manage permissions. Create invite, send message. Maybe we need to log out or log in. I don't know. And allowed them to read message history. Oh, I don't know. Fuck it. Let's try this. See if that works. I don't know. We'll see. Try to fix it. You were to drive in? Huh. If your phone doesn't come back on, she's blaming Paige. Of course. That makes perfect sense. So, for my Texan people here, there's some interesting information about Juneteenth that I don't think most people know. Uh-oh, it's Ella. Everybody hide. What's up?
I'm coming up here as representation. No, not really.
I think Nikia's in Hawaii.
What's she doing in Hawaii? She should have taken.
I don't know.
No, I had to drive to my dad's. So
I see.
that's why I'm.
How does he feel about the Juneteenth?
Huh?
How does he feel about it becoming a national holiday, Juneteenth?
I think it's awesome. That.
No, I know you think that, but what about your dad?
He's not here to ask. So.
Oh, well, shit.
I will ask him tomorrow.
Is he not going to be there today?
No, he took my nieces on a vacation.
Oh, why didn't he take you on a vacation?
I'm not going to answer that on a panel.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was a secret, so that's the only reason I asked.
No,
if I would have known it was a secret, I wouldn't have asked.
It's not a secret. I don't get along with them.
Oh, it's those nieces.
Yes, it's those kids.
And you're gonna end up telling them their face is ugly. I get it. Okay.
Hold on. What, Rosie?
Who's Rosie?
My cousin.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what? There's a Rosie in the panel now?
To come because my dad didn't come last night. Yeah. So if he comes today, he might be extra drunk, and I might have to cuss his ass out again tonight, like I did on Thursday night, because I almost kicked his ass out Thursday night.
I'm here to roll. Let's rumble. I'll cuss his ass out too. Sounds good to me.
He came in talking about some shit that I guess.
Talk about something else.
Something that
She told me to talk about someone else. Like, I need her to talk about stuff. Well, Bella Lee, Lisa, I don't know who you are. I do know all the other people that are mods. They've been around for a while. But trust me, not all of them will keep the wrenches because they're not going to want to use them. We just started the channel last night. So when they came up, I just started, everybody who showed up, I was modding. I definitely got to take Unks away because he's crazy. We'll get more people in here. That means I've got like 20 mods. So ridiculous. Oh, man. We need to go tell all the troops that I'm live. Who are these troops that I'm talking about? Let's see. I need to go to the mod chat, which I never talk in. And then, oh, I'm so sleepy today. I'm tired, Tracy. Like, I think, so I'll clear some shit up because I know I didn't get to tell everybody because I've told quite a few people. So normally when I like take a Klonopin for stress or anxiety or whatever because I'm going to have a panic attack, I can take like half of one or one depending on like where I'm at. But was getting so hot, like, and I couldn't cool off. It was just really hot yesterday, and the heat triggers it for real. But then my dosage is usually, it's typically, it's just 0.5. That's the lowest dose of that particular drug. So, or the second lowest. I can't remember if they have a 2.5. I know the Ativan does, but I don't remember if Klonopin does. So anyway, I took one and then an hour later took another one because I was like, it's not working. I'm getting hotter. I'm still feeling sick. Now, I don't usually get stressed out or angry or whatever in my head, like when I'm talking, but my body does the opposite. It says, oh my God, what's going on? It's like the internal person inside me. I think I have a person living inside me. And it's like freaking out, and I don't even know why. So when, I was listening to Chrissy's live, I could feel my body getting tense, but my brain is like, what is going on? Like, why is everything stressing you out? So I have like an internal conflict. So that's why I took a second one. But because I don't take it every day, and it's been a long time since I've actually had to take two, it was like I got high super fucking weird quick. And so now today I'm exhausted, which is quite funny. But everybody was really worried about me, and I appreciate it. But trust me, I was never going to OD. It was only a milligram. And I've taken more than that in a day. Like, there's been times in my past where I've been so high stressed that I've had to take 2 or 3. So I've been, or maybe even more, like maybe 4 at the most. And I've, taken about 2 milligrams total. So it's fine. It's just, it was also late. I'd been up since 5 something in the morning. So between that, the fact that I was stressed, I could fall asleep right now. So many factors. But I do appreciate everyone who was worried and that was looking out for me last night. But I am totally fine today. And all of that for this crazy hoe to delete her channel. Again. So, that's not what we're here to talk about, but I did want to say that. She deleted it again, so it's crazy. Hello, Rogu3. So yeah, Klonopin is like really good for my panic. I will take it if I think or anticipate that I'm going to have an issue. Like, if I drink, I'll take like a quarter of it or a half because sometimes that'll happen. Or if I eat spicy foods, Sometimes I'll do it because that's a trigger. I have weird triggers. It's not usually stress.
Okay.
Stress will trigger it, but it usually takes longer. However, the heat does, and some reason I do not learn and just take that shit when it's hot. Like, why didn't I just do that way earlier?
That's weird.
I didn't even think about that. I just thought about that this very second.
Huh.
You can't tag. The app doesn't work on the phone, Tracy. I don't know why. That's a YouTube fuck up. Meow mix, that's fucked up. She says, I think a very small amount of benzodiazepine, I can never say it, benzos, need to be added to the water supply like fluoride. Just a small amount would benefit us all. Unfortunately, most people don't drink water out of the tap anymore.
No. It's the devil. No, I'm just kidding.
It's what?
I said it's the devil.
It's the devil. What, Discord or benzos?
Water.
Water's the devil? What the fuck?
Water from the faucet.
Oh, it depends on where you live.
Well, yeah.
Here for sure. Here for sure.
Hey, Mo, what do you know? Sorry. Not some...
So I was learning, I've known a lot about Juneteenth and what it means and the celebration, but here's what I just learned today, which I'm surprised I didn't know it before, not because I'm smart or anything, but because I've researched it before, and either I have forgotten that, I guess, or I just didn't catch it before. So Juneteenth, this is very interesting to me, and I'm sure that this is going to be very interesting for a lot of people. Which is short for June 19th. It marks the day when federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas in 1865 to take control of the state and ensure that all enslaved people be freed. The troops' arrival came a full 2.5 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. So Juneteenth honors the end of slavery, which we all know, in the United States, and is considered the longest-running African-American holiday. On June 17th, 2021, it officially became a federal holiday. So, yes, so it was basically celebrated because it was at the time federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, and said, "Hold up, wait a minute, it's a 22." No, they said, "Hold up, all these enslaved people need to be freed because we have the Emancipation Proclamation, and you're not honoring that. Therefore, we need to end slavery." And it was 2.5 years after. What most people also don't know about the Emancipation Proclamation is it didn't free all slaves. It was issued obviously by Abraham Lincoln, which the Republicans give him credit for, and that's fine. But it had established that all enslaved people in Confederate states in rebellion against the Union shall be then thenceforward and forever free. So if you were not a Confederate or a free state, it didn't count. So because Texas wasn't either at the time, they had to march their asses in and tell them, "Hey, Texas, we know you think you're better than everybody, but let my people go." So the proclamation only applied to places under Confederate control and not to slave-holding border states or rebel areas already under Union control. However, as Northern troops advanced in the Confederate South, many enslaved people fled behind Union lines. So in Texas, slavery had continued as the state experienced no large-scale fighting or significant presence of Union troops. Many enslavers from outside the Lone Star State had moved there, as they viewed it a safe haven for slavery. After the war came to a close in the spring of 1865, General Granger's arrival in Galveston that June signaled freedom for Texas's 250,000 enslaved people. Although emancipation didn't happen overnight for everyone, In some cases, enslavers withheld the information until after harvest season. Celebrations broke out among newly freed black people, and Juneteenth was born. That December, slavery in America was formally abolished with the adoption of the 13th Amendment. The year following 1865, which would be 1866. I don't know why they just don't say that. Freedmen in Texas organized the first of what became the annual celebration of Jubilee Day, which is, where is this fucking video playing? I hate when videos play and I can't find them. All right, there we go. Juneteenth has been called many things, one of them being Jubilee Day. So, let's see, where was I? On June 19th. In the ensuing decades, Juneteenth commemorations featured music, barbecues, prayer services, and other activities. And as black people migrated from Texas to other parts of the country, the Juneteenth tradition spread. In 1979, Texas became the first state to make Juneteenth an official holiday. Several others followed suit over the years, and in June of 2021, which was only a few days ago, Congress passed a resolution establishing Juneteenth as a national holiday. And President Biden officially signed it into law on the 17th of this month. So I did not know the history as far as Texas goes. So what do you know? Texas, you're in trouble, but then you kind of made up for it for making it a state law in 1979. And I say kind of because, did you give people work off? Because, I'm just wondering. Mo Biden says you're welcome, everybody. Oh, man. Where's Heather? I thought Heather would want to know this. And then she disappeared. She don't get to know about her state. Hell, where's Nana? Nobody from Texas is in this damn chat. I wasted all that on non-Texan people. Right? Thanks, Heaven. This is the mod channel, Rain Baby. You missed the whole freaking part, though, about Texas, Heather. And Biden doesn't suck. You suck. No, we never learned about that in school. Exactly. Galveston, Texas, holding 250,000 slaves for no damn reason other than they thought they could. Everybody has power here. Well, almost everybody. Let's see. Where is the other information that I found? I found some good information. That was about Texas. Let's see what we got here. 10 facts about Juneteenth. It is celebrated annually on June 19th by exploring the following 10 facts. Let's see. Juneteenth is the oldest nationally celebrated commemoration of the ending of slavery. We know this. We just learned that. We learned that too, that the Civil War ended in the summer of 1865. Oh, there's a picture of the Galveston Tri-Weekly News, which printed General Order Number 3 on June 20th, 1865, the day after it was issued. The people are informed that in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves us absolute equality of... Does it say us? No, it says this involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection herefore existing between them become that between employer and hired labor. The freedom are It's not really the clearest. The freedmen are advised to remain at their present homes and work for wages. They are informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts and that they will not be supported in what? Something either there or elsewhere by order of Major General Granger. Major Granger. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, they said, okay, you're free, but now we're going to put you in indentured servitude. We're going to pay you the lowest wages possible. But, it is what it is. Yeah, part three of general order, or part of the general order number 3, encouraged newly freed people to remain with their past owners. The freedmen are advised to remain quietly at their present homes and work for wages. They're informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts and that they will not be supported in idleness. Oh, that's what that said. Either there or elsewhere. The period after Juneteenth is known as the scatter. Undeterred by the recommendation to remain in place, many former slaves left the area during the original reading. In the following weeks, formerly enslaved people left Texas in great numbers to find family members and make their way in the postbellum United States. Of course, Juneteenth has been celebrated under many names: Freedom Day, Jubilee Day, and celebration. It's cell and then liberation. 2 separate words, Day, Second Independence Day, and Emancipation Day, to name just a few. Fact 6 is Emancipation Park in Houston, Texas, was bought specifically to celebrate Juneteenth. The 10-acre parcel of land was purchased by former slaves Richard Allen, Richard Brock, Jack Yates, and Elias Dibble for $800 in 1872. Fact 7 is during the early 20th century, Juneteenth celebrations declined. The enactment of Jim Crow laws dampened the celebration of freedom. In addition, the Great Depression forced many black farming families away from rural areas and into urban environments to seek work, resulting in difficulty taking the day off to celebrate. The celebration of Juneteenth was revived during the Civil Rights Movement. The Poor People's March planned by MLK was purposely scheduled to coincide with the date. March participants took to celebrations back to their home states, and soon the holiday was reborn. Fact 9, celebrations of Juneteenth continue today. Traditions include readings of the Emancipation Proclamation, singing traditional songs, and reading of the works by noted African American writers. Celebrations can also take the form of rodeos, street fairs, cookouts, family reunions, park parties, historical reenactments, and Miss Juneteenth contests. Of course, the 10th fact is that we enacted it as a national independent holiday, which is awesome. Let's see. Yeah, so not only was it that the states, right, okay, so in the Emancipation Proclamation, the condensed version is what we learn in school. We don't actually read the executive order. So many learned that this executive order meant immediate freedom for the slaves, right? However, since the country was in the midst of the Civil War, those states that had seceded from the Union did not have to adhere to the proclamation. And so the slaves in those states remained unfree. Although the language that we're taught in school suggests that he wanted to free the slaves, Lincoln's primary objective was not to ameliorate the lives of those in bondage. Rather, his intent was to preserving the Union. In August 1862, Horace Greeley, the editor of the New York Tribune, published an editorial address to Lincoln, pressuring his stance on slavery and urging him to abolish it. Lincoln responded to an open letter to Greeley, published in the Tribune that same August. It says, "My paramount object in this struggle is to save the Union, and it is not either to save or destroy slavery. What I do about slavery and the colored race, I do because I believe it helps to save the Union. It had nothing to do with the people. Let's see. Lincoln and Union Army and used slavery as a political motive to justify strength in military endeavors against the Confederacy. Black soldiers were able to fight for the Union when Lincoln passed the proclamation. Though they faced discrimination and often performed menial roles because of presumed incompetence, they increased the Union Army in size. Also, what's interesting about that is, which is not in here, hold on one second. Let's see. I'm trying to see where it is. So on October 31st in 1864, Nevada, where I live, right, was admitted as the 36th state. And the reason it is because Lincoln needed more people for the Union. It had nothing to do with, wanting to make us a state. Because we were considered Mexico up until the American-Mexican War, which ended in 1848, and then we became a part of the United States as a party, as due to the Treaty of Guadalupe, but we were organized into the Utah Territory. So, and that became its own territory in 1861, and then we finally became a state in 1864. So, just couldn't remember the year. I thought it was either 1864 or 1863. I always forget that. Hey, Allie Joe. Let's see. All right, the Civil War ended in April 1865. In June of that year, General Gordon Granger and his troops traveled to Galveston, which we just learned, saying that all slaves are free. Throughout the war, Texas was not as closely monitored as other battle states. For this reason, many slave owners went to Texas with their slaves. With its relatively negligible Union presence, slavery continued there for much longer. After the Emancipation Proclamation went into effect, slaves in Wharton states often escaped behind Union lines or fought on its behalf. The slaves who got the news were jubilant to hear of their freedom on Juneteenth. In the book Lone Star Pass, Memory and History in Texas, Felix Haywood, a former slave who gave a testimony about Juneteenth as part of the New Deal project, recalled, "The end of the war, it come just like that, like you snap your fingers. Hallelujah broke out. Soldiers all of a sudden was everywhere, coming in bunches, crossing, walking, and riding. Everyone was singing. We was all walking on golden clouds. Everybody went wild. We was free, just like that. We was free." But freedom did not come at the snap of a finger for everyone in Texas. Some people who should have been freed continued to work throughout the harvest season because their masters withheld this announcement to reap more wages out of their slaves. This left many former slaves treated as though they were still in bondage. Apparently, in the Lone Star Pass, there was a reported thing that said lots of Negroes were killed after freedom, bushwhacked, shot down while they were trying to get away. You could see lots of Negroes hanging from trees in Sabine Bottom right after freedom. Oh, in Sabine Bottom right after the freedom. So, like, the slaves got mad, right, because they're slave owners, because they didn't want to lose their property, which is absolutely ridiculous. In 1980, Emancipation Day in Texas became a legal state holiday in recognition of Juneteenth. However, state offices do not completely close, and it is considered a partial staffing holiday. Elsewhere, the holiday is also referred to as Emancipation Day, Freedom Day, and Black Independence Day. Many continue to celebrate Juneteenth 151 years later throughout the nation. and other gatherings to commemorate. There's a lot of interesting history. The half-black ones love you too. Savage Hopper. What the hell did I just walk back into? She's like, I think my oldest is upstairs. He might have disappeared. So yeah, that was that's interesting information. I did not know it started in Texas. I don't know how I missed that the first time. CNN did the numbers for Juneteenth. It says that Juneteenth is the oldest known U.S. celebration of the end of slavery. African Americans and others mark that anniversary much like the 4th of July with parties, picnics, and gatherings. Juneteenth was signed into law, blah, blah, blah. We know because that just happened. And then it says, here's a look by the numbers. 46,713,850 Black and African American people, one race alone or in combination, in the United States in 2019. That is the most recent numbers in the Census Bureau. So out of 330 million people, only roughly 47 million are Black or African American, or, both, one or the other. Now, in 1860, there was an estimated number of 3,953,760 slaves. 500,000 estimated the number of free African American people in 1860. So obviously there was a disparity there in numbers. Almost 200,000 African American men served in the Navy and Army on behalf of the Union. It was 901 days from the issuance of the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863. And General Orders Number 3, notifying enslaved peoples of their emancipation on June 19, 1865. It's been 158 years since January 1, 1863, that President Abraham Lincoln issued the final Emancipation Proclamation, freeing those enslaved. 156 years since Major General Gordon Granger, Union Army, first read the proclamation, General Order Number 3 in Galveston, Texas, notifying enslaved people of their emancipation. 149 years, is the age of the oldest Juneteenth celebration in the world, first held in 1872 in Emancipation Park in Houston. State with laws or resolutions commemorating Juneteenth, there's 47. The District of Columbia also commemorates Juneteenth. Now, of course, that's changed because now we have it into law. 41 years since January 1st, 1980, when Juneteenth became a state holiday in Texas. It had been celebrated informally there since 1865. 30.2% of the population of Texas comprising enslaved people or bondsmen in 1860. 15 states where it was legal to enslave people before the Civil War: Alabama, Arkansas, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, Missouri, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia. 13th Amendment of the Constitution was what abolished slavery. And 8 consecutive years during which Barack Obama, throughout his presidency, issued a statement to mark Juneteenth, 2009 to 2016. Let's see. Those are the numbers. And then it says Cumberland Island, Georgia, has the first African American Baptist church. And it was established in 1893, but it had to be rebuilt in 1930s. It's interesting. So now that it's a federal holiday, which it should be, how many people believe that we need to, it should be, there's some federal holidays that people don't ever like really observe. Like everybody observes Christmas and everybody observes like Thanksgiving and New Year's. Those are the main ones, July 4th, whatever. But I feel, and this may be something that most people don't like, but I feel that at this point, considering the reason we have July 4th, right, is because we seceded and we gained our independence from England, right? So it was to celebrate the independence from that country and to, that's awesome, three boy mom, and to be separated and have our freedom. But it was supposed to be everyone there's freedom, in this country's freedom, and it wasn't. Obviously, it was only the white people. I don't know if July 4th should still be a holiday, that we make it as big as it is, because it didn't include all people. Not all people had their independence. And I get it's the birth of our country, but I don't think it's really should be called Independence Day. I feel like they should make Juneteenth the official Independence Day of the country. I also think they need to get rid of Columbus Day, because that's a ridiculous holiday anyway. And they have made some indigenous. Well, I don't usually celebrate July 4th because my two friends were murdered on July 4th. That's another thing. The Nazi and KKK utilized July 4th as a day to initiate many people into their groups. And when they do so, some of those initiations include murdering or hanging or torturing or harassing, whatever, people of color. And so in 1998, two of my friends were killed. One was black. So that's great, Savage. I feel like we need to get rid of, we do have Indigenous People Day here in Nevada, but I think they need to make it a federal holiday, and they need to get rid of Columbus Day. I think that unfortunately, we had to get so extreme in order for people to pay attention. That's the issue. Like, people always want to know, like, why is it taking it so long, or why are people making a big deal, or why this, why that, why is everything got to be this? And it's like, well, things had to get this extreme in order for people to pay attention, because it's not like nobody was saying we need to do this 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Martin Luther King Day's birth, his day, celebration of Martin Luther King Day, was the last national holiday that was added as a federal holiday, right? And that was in 1983. So 38 years ago. Wait, yeah, 38 years ago. That's good, three boy mom. In Virginia. Yeah, I know we have Indigenous People Day, but I don't know. Let me look. I don't know if they made it Columbus Day or not. I don't remember. Indigenous. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, it's an official city and state holiday in various localities. I believe that maybe Nevada I know we have Indigenous Peoples Day, but I didn't realize, I don't know if they got rid of Columbus Day, but let me look. Let's see, it says Berkeley, California became the first city to make the change in 1992. Oops. Holy moly. Okay, let's go back down. first state to rename Columbus Day was South Dakota, 1990. Hawaii also changed the name of its October 12th holiday to Discover's Day, to honor Polynesian navigators who peopled the islands. Berkeley, California became the first city in 1992 when the city council renamed Columbus Day as Indigenous People Day. In 2015, an estimated 6,000 Native people and their supporters gathered at Randall's Island, New York, to recognize the survival of Indigenous people of the Western Hemisphere. These states and the District of Columbia now observe Native American or Indigenous Peoples Day in place or in addition to Columbus Day. Most of them have followed the lead of their cities and smaller communities, and the list has happily grown too long to include here. Nevada's not on here, but Nevada is one. When was this article written? Last year? Wait a minute. Let me do this. Nevada, or maybe it's just Las Vegas. That might be what it is. In 2017, the legislature unanimously passed law that authorized the governor to declare Indigenous People Day in Nevada. But on August 9th, to coincide with the United Nations Recognition Day of International Day and World's Indigenous People, the bill was signed into law. Wait, what? So we don't celebrate it at the same time? Hold up. Let me look at our actual thing. A proclamation by the governor. Let's see. Nevada recognizes the important contributions of Indigenous people in the state of Nevada and all our citizens. Now, therefore, Steve Sisolak. Oh, yes. So that was 2017. But our governor, Steve Sisolak, this is why it's so in my head. Last year, October 12th, did proclaim that October 12th, as of that day, it will be Indigenous People Day in Nevada. Where I think Columbus Day is just the Monday or something like that, or a third Monday or second Monday in October. Right. Columbus Day became a federal holiday in 1937. That's weird. So this year, it's celebrated on Monday, October 11th, and then we're going to have an Indigenous People Day on October 12th. I think we should just get rid of the freaking Columbus Day. Who's with me? I agree, three boy mom. Like, I was showing Nana, which I think she's taking a nap. That's probably why we don't see her. But we were talking about people making bad choices and not understanding stereotypes and making comments. And, somebody had said something about chicken and watermelon, which is extremely insensitive. And, a lot of people are like, I don't even understand how that's racist. And so I had to kind of explain it. And I'm really bad at explaining, like, those types of things because I feel like, one, the level of information that you get from different places, because you got to really seek it. It's not normal history, is jumbled to what degree. And then you want to make sure you're correct, but then you're also thinking, like, I find that the hardest part for me when I explain any type of like bigotry, racism, or whatever, unless it's blatantly obvious, I feel like I struggle because these people still, like, not these people, like people that are racist, but I feel like people in general, if they don't see it blatantly, then they question and argue, and then that makes me feel even more weird, and then I feel like I can't explain it properly and that I'm doing it an injustice, and it just makes me crazy. Yeah, there's supposed to be critical race study, but Trump got rid of that or tried to stop it. I think it's trying to come back. There needs to be a level of like, why wouldn't we teach racism and cold slavery and all this stuff in school? Why would we not teach accurate history? And it just angers me because history is basically written by the winners. So it's very frustrating. I know, right? Three boy mom, I agree. Yeah, it really was. Mo Biden. I feel like people get made when called a cracker. It has nothing to do with race. Oh yeah, yeah. You mean mad? Cracker? Yeah, cracker has nothing to do with race. It actually is comes from the term of the whip. When people would use whip in cattle, that they were actually called Florida crackers. But they also used the whip on slaves, so it may have something to do with race, but not necessarily that they're white. I left. Just walked away. I'm done. I can't believe I ate a whole pint of ice cream last night. But that ice cream was so good. Now I'm gonna eat more ice cream. I don't know about that. I think we tried to do no labels, and then there was still no division. There was still division. Me too, Jill. I love me some ice cream. Well, Punky, I mean, it's only an American holiday. So yes, it is about slavery, and it's in America, and it's based on, it's all Heather's fault, technically, because it happened in Texas. But Juneteenth was the day that General Order 3 was read to let everyone know once the Civil War actually ended. And it was 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation that they let them know that, hey, dudes, you guys still are holding slaves, but they need to be freed immediately. And that's why Juneteenth became Emancipation Day. Right. There's a difference between, like, it's hard because you try to explain when people say they don't see color. I know there's not trying to be hurtful, because I mean I said the same thing in the 90s. That's what we were taught. But I think that what people need to understand is that when somebody's fighting or telling, because right now I hear this a lot more. People are always saying, oh, I don't see color. And it's always in response to somebody who's saying, I'm not racist, or I don't see how that's racist, and I don't get it. We just need to see everybody as people, and I get that. Yeah, that's great. That's a great ideology. But at the same time, like, you have to. Everybody's got their identities, right, and their their culture and their history and everything like that. And when we don't see color, then we tend to also not see injustice because we're not looking for people being treated differently. So, why? Okay, great example that I heard once in a book. And I say heard because I do audiobooks. But let's say you had a small child at the grocery store, and the child's at the grocery store and they see a person of color or a black person, or brown or whatever, specifically. And they say, look, mommy, that person's got black skin or brown skin. All of a sudden, you would feel embarrassed. The kid would be like scolded that it's not nice to say it, blah, 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 blah. Everybody would be hushed about it. They wouldn't talk. So the idea to say that we don't see color is a lie, because even if you say that, then why is it so bad to say a child who's innocently looking at somebody going, hey, that person's black or brown? I think it's because people feel like, well, obviously I haven't educated or, immersed my child into enough culture for her to see the difference. And instead of being ashamed, they should take the opportunity to educate. Because if it was a white person and the kids saw that and the roles were reversed and a black person, someone said, oh, look, the black kid said, oh, look, mommy, there's a white person. Nobody would blink an eye. Nobody would care. Or even if it was somebody who was white, look, mommy, that person's really white. Oh, it's Audie. She's arrived. Problem is we can say we don't see color, but we do. We do it with micro expressions, unconscious bias, all these things.
Hi.
What's up, Audie?
Hi. Why am I echoing so bad?
Because you are an echo.
Yep. Could be that. How's everybody?
You always got loud stuff going on, though.
I got people here. I just wanted to check in, see how everybody was today.
We're good. We're talking about Juneteenth.
I know, I think I missed a good chunk of it. How far in are you?
57 minutes.
That's a good chunk.
We learned about the history of it and how it started. We learned that it's all Heather's fault. I get to say it's her fault today because it started in Texas.
I mean, I think I know a little bit of the history, but if you want to do a quick recap, I appreciate it.
What'd you say?
I said if you wanted to do a recap, I don't know if like a bunch of new people came in, like besides me, but I
Not
know
really.
a little bit of the history, but I definitely don't know enough, and I need to do my own research because I feel ignorant for that. But I only know very minimal about Juneteenth and why it is.
Rain Baby, I have a funny story about that actually. So in 1865, on June 19th, in Galveston, Texas, Major Granger, or whatever his name is now, I forgot it, but I think it's Major Granger because it rhymes. He read the General Order Number 3 to the Army, the Confederate Army, because at the time the war had just ended, the Civil War, and it was that they had to free all the slaves, because even though the Emancipation Proclamation happened 2.5 years prior, it only applied to Confederate states. But since a lot of the states seceded from the nation, because that was their intent, a lot of them maintained maintained having slaves, and they also scattered to other states that weren't necessarily deemed Confederate states. So they had to basically go and say, you have to free all these people. And that day became Juneteenth, Emancipation Day. But it started in Galveston, Texas.
Yes, my husband told me a little bit elaborated a little bit last night about it, but I was like, I have to do my own research because I felt like I knew, but I wasn't sure if I knew enough.
Well, it's hard because a lot of this stuff isn't taught in schools.
I think it will be now, though.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope.
I mean, it's a federal holiday, so I think they definitely will.
That's very naive of you.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking, like, public schools really embrace that sort of thing. So, I mean, I'm hoping, at least in my area, they do. I mean, maybe it's like a Northeast thing, but I'm pretty sure, like,
I mean,
even the hospital I worked in was like all, like, there was a huge ceremony on, let's see, because I work from home Thursdays and Fridays. So we were getting the emails about it for Friday, but I was obviously going to be home. And the like all of our lobbies, like outside my office, was like all decorated for Juneteenth and stuff. So, I mean, I'm hoping.
yeah,
Like,
but do you guys teach all history and accurate history in your schools?
I don't know. My son doesn't go to public school, so I can't attest to what goes on in the public schools. I would like to think they're getting better at it. I know it's far from perfect, and I'm sure, again, being that he's in a parochial school, it's probably, you know, it's probably not the most.
Probably not accurate if he's
It's
in
probably
parochial
very,
school.
very. I mean, they do teach like evolution and stuff like that, so like that's a plus. Like that's a step in the right direction. So
Right.
that's
Well,
all I can hope for.
my point is like we have Black History Month because there's not enough to. They don't know how they're going to teach all this history and all these other months, but yet they only learn about like 5 things.
Yeah.
With 5 people, and in fact, there has been such little information that's been out to the public until the invention of the internet. Like you to really know where to look to find information that a lot of Black cultures, in the United States, don't even know a lot about their own history and the things that happened.
You know me, I just like to think that everything's always going to get better. So my hope is that
Getting better is fine, but
we get
always
better.
having a positive attitude and just hoping and not actually doing anything to help it doesn't get anybody anywhere. Makes you feel better though, right?
Yeah, and I think like we could help by like educating our own children and making sure that they're more informed than maybe we were, and
Yeah,
make sure that
that's good.
and just make sure that they understand things that maybe my parents weren't able to teach me, or my husband's parents weren't able to teach him, and explain things and talk about them, and not like,
I think
don't
that
talk about that.
everybody as a whole, and this is like a big ask, right? In the country, take accountability for their knowledge and try to learn more about themselves and learn about more about the country and learn about more of our history and not get their emotions involved and get upset because it's different than what they actually believed or not. We would see a definite change in this country.
And like you said, that's like it starts with like what maybe we do, or like me,
Right.
still as young kids, like what we do in our homes, right? That's all we could ask for, and then hope that like our kids talk to their friends and their parents are kind of instilling the same thing, and because that's all we can hope for, unless which I don't plan on doing. I wish I could, but I can't. Like unless you're going to be a legislator or a politician or something where you really have a bigger platform, or you could just keep it. If you can't do that, and there's nothing wrong with that, then at least you could start with like your own kids and your immediate circle, right? And just start being.
Yeah, I will tell you that.
Voice.
Like I think, like Black Wall Street or the Tulsa Massacre, however you want to call it. Like I have a whole video on that on my other channel.
How I feel about that. That's like one of my favorite things you did. Like I made sure my son sat and watched it, and it was just so well done. And I told you that, and I thought
I should move it over here too, but like it was the 100th anniversary this year.
Yeah, I remember.
May 31st. It's crazy to me.
100 years. So much. Like it's so like interesting that you said that. So much, yet so little has happened in 100 years, right?
Yeah, like, we've gotten so far, but yet not at all.
Yes, like, oh my gosh. I mean, we may not have flying cars yet, but we have things that are beyond people's wildest dreams. But yet something as simple as like civil rights and decency and recognizing people as equal or whatever. It's
Right.
just we're still just not necessarily. They're not that far off. So yeah, it's interesting how humans work.
It really is interesting how humans work. But
So
I
what
think
else?
it's also a cultural thing. Like in America, we've gotten,
Sure.
and it's starting to happen in other countries, like more, first world environments. But we're so fixated on the the here, the now, the right now, the best and greatest, the prettiest. We're not focused on the things that are important. We've
Of
been
course.
conditioned to worry about having the best house, the best car, the nicest things. And I'm like, I just want to have experiences and enjoy life. And that's why when crazy pants went live last night and like gave half wrong information and whatever the hell she did, it really didn't affect me as much because yeah, I'm in financial fucking debt, but I don't talk about it because I don't
Because it
care.
doesn't
I mean, I
rule you.
care.
It doesn't rule you. It
It's
doesn't
not
define
killing me.
you. It doesn't make
Right.
you who you are, and it
You
doesn't
don't even think
determine
about
your.
it.
Yeah. Listen, I have made so many poor choices in my life. I'm coming from a financial end, like so many, and um, but that doesn't change anything about my ability to do my job or to be a mother, or to be a wife, or to be a friend, or to be a decent human. I just made some choices, and I personally had to learn from them. And sometimes I still make really shitty choices, and sometimes I make good ones. But that has nothing to do with like the way I don't believe it does has anything to do with the way somebody the quality of their human. I mean, I guess like but here's the thing, when you have nothing else, like right, what are we that's like grasping for straws. Like when there's nothing else, what could I do to like to tear this person down? Like that's literally grasping for straws. Like thinking like that's going to
I
make
love that I was
people
apparently working for Amazon and I was stealing
well
packages. I thought that
I
was
mean,
weird
I
as
was
fuck.
wondering one time these sneakers I ordered didn't show up, and I was like, Paige must have been Paige.
Yep, it was
Paige,
me
get my damn sneakers.
all the way here. And it's just like I kept those
I did.
sneakers.
I was like, oh, they came. That must have been it. She was driving cross country to deliver them, and she just decided to detour.
Exactly.
It's just so stupid, Paige. And I wish like you. I wish I could dealing with certain situations, whether just in life in general, could have your tenacity, because I would have probably been in the fetal position crying just because I'd be so mad. Like so mad. Not about like being upset or hurt or
I was
I
too
would just be
high.
so angry that like you can't do anything. Like I'd be so angry that I couldn't just be like, shut the
I'm
fuck
still
up.
trying to
I
figure out
mean,
how she got all that information.
well, that's a
Two
we'll
of
figure
two
it
of the
out.
things, actually, I think it's the same thing twice. It looks like, but I found it
We'll
on
figure it out.
one of the Clark County civil court docs. But the other stuff, I just don't get.
Yeah, but you know what? Even if you never figure it out, it's it doesn't matter.
That's
Like
true, sweet boy mom.
do you think that I mean, I need to know this because I've kind of been a little MIA for like not all day, but like the last, half of the day. Do
Uh huh.
people like are people recognizing, or am I just once again thinking or
I
looking with
love your
rose-colored
optimism.
glasses?
I have
Am I
no idea if
are
they
people
are.
recognizing how fucking crazy this is? And like, I'm sorry for cussing. I know, I don't know, I don't want to
Have
have
you
to
met
be
me at
no,
all?
I know, but I know it's a new channel and I don't want to say
No
anything.
channels don't
But
make a difference.
okay, but here's the thing: like, are people that, especially the people, and like, I had commented on the because I had to catch up this morning because I fell asleep
I
last night
saw.
during the live.
I saw your
Yeah, so
comment.
I'm like, so there's certain people that I've always like kind of thought were pretty level-headed people that I saw kind of riding hard for somebody, and then like I was surprised by it, but I'm like, I hope they see it now. Like, and I don't expect them to like come out, and I'm not even saying those people. I'm just saying in general the people that thought she was such like a saint. Like, do they see it now? Do they see what she's capable of? She's a monster, and people need to see that. And that's not the vodka soda that's talking.
Heather
All
says this, but I will tell you, I don't know if that's true because I don't. I've never talked to those new people anyway, so I don't know.
no, but now she doesn't have a channel because my understanding is, and I'm only getting this from hearsay, is that it's either gone. And I will admit, I went to look for it, couldn't find it. So it's either gone, So there's not even an opportunity for her to, like, for people to unsub
Maybe
or
in
like.
jail in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, she'll be back. After this live, even though this live has nothing to do with her and you're talking about something so important, the fact that we're even having this conversation now, she'll be triggered and either go live or go on somebody else's panel, the few people remaining that will give her a platform, and start running her mouth about nonsense. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't. Oh, well, I don't think I brought it up. Did I bring it up? I didn't want to derail. Yes,
Wait.
I know, Ella. That's what I was just saying. I know. I just said I don't want to derail, so I'm sorry.
Ella's mean.
She's just feisty. So, how's everybody Saturday?
I mean, we spent the first hour talking about it, and I was talking about how should we change the holidays and what does everybody think? And then Audie entered, so
So sorry, guys. That's what I'm saying. I didn't mean to derail.
It was like a little bit, and it wasn't that bad. We were talking about making changes, and that actually kind of throw us into that whole weirdness. So
because you know what, I think how it can tie in is like we all learn from maybe whether it's learning from mistakes or learning from life experiences, or maybe learning from just meeting new people or learning about.
Are you serious, Ella? I'm not saying we're not going to talk about it continually. I'm just saying give me a few seconds here.
Ella, Paige is such a good advocate. I think she's she does a lot more than other people do on the platform as far as like bringing attention to certain things.
Okay, so I'm apparently an enemy all of a sudden. So that's cool.
I was gonna say I will derail. It's like I will step down from the live. I mean, I'll go back to chat so I don't distract us from. And I didn't mean to. I'm sorry if I did.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not your fault. I thought we were talking about the differences and changes in schools. And I mean, it was like 3 seconds we talked about the other situation. I don't understand why we've gotten like this whole live is going to be about it. But it's also, I wasn't planning on doing a 5-hour live about it either because I'm exhausted from yesterday. Maybe later on, but like I want to talk about the history and stuff and talk and have discussions with people about the way that they feel and how what they would like to see change, and do they think that the Independence Day, which is our normal Independence Day, should we like either not eliminate it but like not make it as important as Juneteenth? Like I feel like if we can't either make a new holiday where we're all equal, like
that'd be nice. I mean, I'm kind of
right where it does celebrate all equality, or celebrate Juneteenth just as big as July 4th, even though I don't think July 4th should represent independence. I get that we won the war against Britain and against the British and all this all this great stuff and became a country, but that country then enslaved people for 200 years. So
yeah, no. I think that's a really interesting thing.
Almost 100 years after that, but they were still enslaved. They were still treating them badly prior. But
I like so you know what I'm curious about, Paige, and maybe you can answer this. How does, and maybe I'm being super ignorant by asking this, but I'm always curious, and I feel like Chantel is like always a good person because obviously she's in the Netherlands.
Chantel, have you met her?
Yes, I know, but you didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish my question. I didn't. I know she's a little wild, Mama, but hold on. How does the rest of the world, like, this would be like a good conversation to have with like people like maybe Canada, and then of course the UK, maybe people in Africa, people in Australia, whatever. Like, how did they view our progression as a country? Like, for example, something like it's 2021 and we have Juneteenth. Like, it wasn't 1910 or 18.
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, how
I,
do they view us? Do they think this is like we're so behind? Do they think like what's wrong with these
in some
people? Like,
ways, they think we are, and in some ways, they think we're not. Like, it really just depends. Like, I know that in France, for sure, because all my relatives are there, they've wondered for years why we can't get it together. But there
yeah.
are some other areas of Europe that still have a really big problems with racism, especially Britain. Um,
Is it
so
similar to our racism? Like, so
mm,
because
I
is it
think it
like
is and it isn't.
I shouldn't
It
say
is and
similar.
it
That's
isn't.
probably
It's
not
so
a fair
different in other
comparison.
countries.
Yeah,
Racism
yeah.
is so different everywhere else. It's hard to say. Um, but yeah, it's just it's really it's really interesting. I don't know. I mean, I think that they think in general as a country we are so behind mentally. You know, not necessarily economically or technologically, even though we are behind in some of
No.
those areas. Well, but
Yeah.
I mean mentally that we are still so like juvenile in the sense it's us. It's me. We are the greatest. That like that type of attitude. And then we wonder why we have people in our like that we encounter people that are that way. But that's the way our country's taught us to be.
Yeah, and I think
Yes,
that
Pamela, France does have a very big history with racism against Muslim. They still do,
oh, they
yes.
do. That's I was thinking of
Racism,
that.
but racism with like black people, yes. And it's not because of the faith. It's because of, I don't know. I think it's because they're snobs and they don't want any poor people coming there and ruin. And it's really mainly Paris.
Is it because of
Like,
like immigration? Is it more because of people immigrating into
well, there's a
France
little bit of both.
from
Like, okay, so like it's a little bit of that, but it's also some legal immigrants and so forth. There's all that, but it's their economic programs do get like if you go to that country and they're squatters, right? Let's say they go there on asylum, they find an abandoned building or an empty building, not even abandoned, but an empty apartment because somebody only is there 6 months of the year. They can now claim that as their own. So there's some
oh,
laws that were
wow.
antiquated that maybe have made things harder. Um, but they have great like other great programs and stuff. But like it's mainly from what I've seen in like the bigger cities that you see that issue. Mainly Paris. But if you go to like the south of France, there seems to be a better acceptance of it. So it just really
Interesting.
depends.
I think
Yeah.
that let me just look at do you care if I look at the comments and read them? Are you looking at them?
I'm reading some of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I thought that I mean where was it? Just saw one. Oh, it was Chantel. Says immigration is a problem here too, but the difference between those who fled the country for safety or the so-called fortune seekers. Interesting.
Yeah, well, so like in thank you, Mo Biden. So like in France, when I was there was a lot of Muslim people, and there was also a lot of Gypsy people, and I guess I could say traveler.
Is that
Um,
like Roma? Is that like the
no, but
Roma
they weren't all
culture?
Roma. They weren't all
Oh,
Roma.
okay,
That's
that's
why.
not the same thing.
So so
I'm
not all
asking because
Gypsy
I don't
were
know.
Roma. They
Okay, I
did
didn't
start
know.
out from that area, but they're not all Roma. And Romanis are sometimes Muslim because of where they are in equivalence to the Middle East. A lot of the Muslim faith moved into there, right? Because Muslim's not a race; it's a religion. Um, and but there's a lot of like, and when we talk about the travelers in the sense of and gypsies in the sense of like those locations, they're there to like opportunity, meaning they're there to steal from you and try to get like rob tourists and gain whatever. But I don't know enough about the environment there because like I've never lived in France to know really how much of that is just rumor and like like the story that they're telling because it makes them look bad versus the way the government is, like the government telling it, or, like once you start meeting people in these environments, then you start to see things differently. Um, I I find that sometimes people are forced into crime based on the way that laws are made and the ways that people are handled. Also, so it just really depends. What do you want, Dutch?
Who's
Well,
here?
I just thought that I would
Oh,
hop on. Hi.
My mom's
I
here.
love-
She sounds so much like my mom sometimes. It freaks me out.
Yeah, the last time that with your birthday when you showed
When she sent me
you,
that,
yeah,
that,
exactly. That was the first time that I was like, did I send Paige that thing? Did I forget, or it was like hearing myself? It was
yeah, there's
freaky.
certain things you say, or certain, especially when you get mad.
Yeah.
Like because you get much more clearer, I guess, because you're mad and you're concentrating. But your voice sounds more like hers, and then, but not when she's mad, just in general, because she's very like assertive, like especially at work or something, or when she's trying to make a point, and that just made me laugh so hard because me and Nakia used to sit here going, and even like when we fell out, like she'd be like, "Damn, she sounds so much like your mom. When are you gonna tell her?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'll figure it out."
Oh, even like so, like when Chantel gets angry or upset and she's kind of like heated.
She
that's
sounds
when you
more like my
censor?
mom
Yeah.
when she's angry or upset, or when she's
Isn't
trying to make a point. And I don't want to say like angry, mad, yelling, but like getting very assertive.
Sure. No, I know
Yeah,
what you mean. Like her
more that way.
tone, the tone changes.
Yes. And my mom
I've heard
always
that.
gets asked if she's Dutch or German all the time.
Really?
Yes, because her English is so much better. Because one, she learned English in Ireland when she was in boarding school. Then she came here when she was 18, and she's always worked with the public. So her English, even though she messes words up all the fucking time, she doesn't have a very strong accent anymore. And because her English is so good and it's not guttural like most French people, when they speak English or speak French, it's very guttural. They think she must be Dutch or German because English is a Germanic language, and it's up more in your throat than it is in your diaphragm. It's different.
So I grew up, not to just very, very quickly on languages. My grandfather was was born in Germany, right? My grandmother was Austria. My great grandmother, excuse me, and my grandfather was Belgium. And my grandfather was
Is
born in Germany.
Belgium? Why aren't they Belgish? Why are they
But
I was just
they
thinking
ended
that.
up, but they ended up after my grandfather was born, they came to the U.S. And I guess during the times that it was, they would not allow German to be spoken in the home. Like they had to, they learned English, or they may have known English. I don't know, but my grandfather, as a child growing up, had to speak English, could not speak German. Nobody could speak German. They didn't want them speaking German in the home. He was an only child, my grandfather, but which was also unusual for back then, kind of, I think. Like considering my dad's side of the family is like he's one of 10, so it's just such a different, or one of 16. My dad's grandfather, my dad's father, excuse me, my grandfather, my mom's father was just an only child, but it was just like such a thing where when they came to the States, like, so my mom and her siblings never got the opportunity to like learn a second
Chantel, did you
language or
break your
anything like
freaking
that.
StreamYard again?
I don't
I'm
know.
sorry.
Can you hear
Oh
me?
no, I can hear you. Yeah, I just
I'm
have
sorry,
it
Chantel, I
outside.
can hear. Sorry, I was just talking, but I just meant like it's
No,
interesting
it's
because
okay.
they never let them. Like I kind of like now wish like my grandfather and my mom had the opportunity to learn their language and learn about that culture, but they completely like denounced like anything German, and they did not want it even like talked about. And yeah, so we just never really understood that part of their, the ancestry, history, lifestyle, nothing. They never talked about it.
You gotta make my outside person different. I could be the same person.
Sorry.
Paige, are you reading chat because Ella wants you to read something?
Anywho, chat and panel, especially Paige, I'm sorry for getting snippy. No excuse from behavior. It's your channel. You are free to discuss whatever Whatever, son, I'm really sorry. I
Ella,
promise.
it's just
I will
me,
talk.
Audie.
I will
You don't
talk.
have to be panel.
You are named panel.
Sheesh. I love you, Ella Bobella.
You know I love you, Ella.
Ella, don't go. I love you. I love you. Chantal, what time is it in the
Oh yeah, I do.
Netherlands?
I've got like between my mom and I, we've got like I don't know, 30 different family trees like that. I have like 4 or 5 of my friends. I have Uncle Harold's. Well, up to the point that I found out we're related, then I stopped doing it.
What?
What?
Oh,
You're
we'll come back to
related
that.
to Unc?
Come
Yeah,
back to that.
he's my 8th cousin, one time removed. Yeah.
Oh
I
Stop
wow.
knew
it.
I knew we were
Stop
related
it.
because his fucking family was from Kentucky. And if you're from Eastern Kentucky, you're probably related. Or any,
All right,
any part of
that's it, Paige.
Ohio,
I'm
Virginia,
commissioning you.
a lot of places. Like in the
Huh.
South. North Carolina.
Interesting.
Yeah, those areas. If you have family from there, most likely we're related. I mean, you know, if I could go like, I mean, I can go pretty far back in my tree, but on my dad's side, but you know, I could be related to more people. But I mean, you know, once you're at like after 4 generations, you could lose all the DNA that you're actually related to somebody with, right? So like, me and my brother are on our 23andMe. Like there are people that show up under his that don't show up under mine. We're still related. I just don't have the DNA. It's weird.
Oh, wait a second. I have a question about that. So, okay, just forgive my ignorance. Are you guys full brother and sister, or are you half or something, or you're full brother and
We're
sister?
full. We're full.
Oh, okay. So, oh, that's really interesting.
I don't know
That
who
was
that
my
is.
Chantal. What
But
time is it in the
who's
Netherlands?
Crystal Collins?
It's 1:30 over here.
And I know who Crystal Collins is, Paige. If you want to talk about that later, at another time.
But Bowling's, yes, Bowling is a major name in my family tree. I have all 3 different spellings. Mary Poppin.
Mary Poppin. Are you talking about Crystal Collins? Because I used to be in the Facebook beauty community, so I know who she is.
Oh, she's a scammer. She's probably related to me. My dad was crazy, so.
It's a whole rabbit hole of your mind would
Do you
be
know
blown.
how many
You think
people
you've
I
seen
have
some
found that I've met that I have like anywhere from 9th to like 4th cousin? Like, so most of my friends that I have that I'm related to, that we were friends way before. My friend Ginny, she's my 9th cousin or 8th cousin directly. Then my friend Lauren, she's an 8th cousin. My friend Rudy is an 8th cousin. He's the one who's half Indian. My friend Jason, I would be related to him if his father wasn't adopted. I'm related to his grandparents. It's weird. It's weird. I'm related to my friend Kate. I'm related to a lot of people.
Will you do mine, Paige? I'll pay you.
You don't have to pay me, but yeah, I'll
No,
do
but
it.
I would, because it's a lot of work. And like I told you, my dad's side, like my dad's 1 of 10, my grandfather's 1 of 16. They all stayed like literally in the same town. Like it's crazy. But
You know what?
my
You're in New
mom's side
Jersey,
of
and
the
I
family.
don't really know about New Jersey records, but New York records are hard. And the problem is because a
Oh,
lot of them aren't online, so I
so
might
I'll
need your
tell you
help.
another interesting fact. My dad's mom, my grandma was adopted. So like my dad's mom. And actually my mom's grandfather was also adopted, I think. Like it could get really tricky and complicated and interesting though. Like
Well,
yeah, all of my family's from the Northeast. From Boston to New York,
yeah, my
New
friend
Jersey. That's
Karen,
pretty much it.
her family's all from the Northeast, and I've got stuck on hers. Like I was like,
Well,
we've got to go there in order to get any
oh,
information.
we could do a trip. Let's do a trip. Okay, I'm sorry. I feel like Chantel came up and then like I just wouldn't shut up. So I'm gonna mute and shut up now.
Well, I will say this. I'm also related to Michelle Obama and Barack Obama.
You might be at Thanksgiving next year. You never know.
I mean, I'm not that closely related. There's a few times removed, considering, you know.
If you're
They're
related to
predominantly
both
black.
of them, if you're related to both of them, then they're related.
No, that does not mean that, because by the time you get to like 8th great grandparents, you have like 144 great grandparents. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't understand the science behind it. I'm just
There's,
asking.
I think it's
I guess
math.
we're
I don't think
all.
it's science.
I mean, I guess we're all related in the end. I mean, there has to be like that somewhat. I don't know. What do I know? I'll just go back to vodka sodas. Sorry. Chantel, are you still here?
I guess we are all related if you believe in a me.
Can you guys hear
Lord.
me?
Now
I
I
can.
can hear you. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I was talking too much.
No, it's okay. I just had a question because you know that I don't have any contact with my dad's side.
Yes.
Is it possible to do the DNA test to the 23andMe? Because I believe that there's a possibility that you can find some relatives or whatever through that and then do the genealogy.
Yes.
So
Yes.
my friend,
Right?
my friend Alex, he was adopted, and
Yeah.
he did the 23andMe, and we found his. He already knew who his mother was because she wrote letters to him before he was born. And she had died shortly after cancer, so that's why she gave him up. It was her 10th child. She had, or maybe I'm lying, maybe it was 8th. I don't remember. She had like 8 other children or something with another man, and then had left him because he was abusive. And so he's got a lot of older siblings. She was 39 when she had him, and she died of like some kind of weird, I think maybe uterine cancer or some kind of ovarian cancer, but he never knew who his dad was. And everybody that we found that was in his family that knew him, that knew his mom, or was his mom's side, that all lived in Florida at the time, which was funny. I got him in contact with his aunt and some of his siblings that lived like literally 5 blocks down from him. He had never known.
Wow.
He got to talk and meet them and all that stuff, and he's developed a relationship, but through somebody who kept showing up as a first cousin one time removed. I was like, they're connected to you somehow. So we were talking, I was talking to her, and I was like, I'm doing his tree, so we're trying to figure out. So it would either have been her father or her brother that would have been his father, right? Because it, like, you just couldn't tell. It would be either, because both of them would be a cousin one time removed, or one time 2 times removed. It just depends sometimes, because like we didn't know if he had a kid out of wedlock or whatever, so we were trying to figure it out, but we're pretty sure it was his son. And his son is like a vagrant. He was a heroin addict, this guy. He's been in and out of prison his whole life, so he's homeless basically, somewhere in Florida. So we did find out who his dad was. We just don't have any way of finding him.
Okay. Well, I don't
I
need to
had a-
find them or anything, but I just need to
You want the history.
see. I want the history, and
Yeah.
I want to know
Yeah, sure.
where exactly they are coming from, because I know that I'm some kind of a Middle Eastern, I don't know, heritage or something. But
Right.
where?
Interesting.
I don't know.
My
Oh, we could
friend's
definitely find
husband,
out.
Yeah.
a good girlfriend of mine, her husband did the 20, I think it was 23andMe, and found out like like she was telling you guys don't know who she is, so I can say she was telling me like in private, but like that they ended up finding out that like his parents conceived using a sperm donor, and it was like a whole big thing, and they weren't like, they had, and she did it as a gift to him, like for fun, like he had no idea, and like it ended up being like were they going to confront the parents and like say like what's going on here, and he was an only child, and it was like he contacted other people that were like on the registry, I guess, that showed his relatives, because he knew like they were not his family, like that he grew up knowing, it was just really weird. Like you can learn so much. I told you I have above the percentage of Neanderthal. That's why my brain's so big.
There was a shooting, Ellis's shooting out of Michigan. Black cop shot a black lady, but my cousin said she shot at the cop first. So that's justified. But it was during their Juneteenth parade. I'm going to have to go read that.
Oh wow.
Oh boy.
That's the thing that I don't understand, the cop brutality and just the entire situation. Because over here, our cops, they don't shoot.
That's
I feel
most
like
people
United
countries
States.
in
I feel
Europe.
like that's a United. I feel like that's it. Most countries' police officers, like their everyday police officers that patrol the streets, do not even carry guns.
That's
That's a
right.
U.S.
Sometimes
thing,
they
right?
do, but
Yeah,
they're trained not to utilize them. That's last resort. Where
yeah, they,
here it's a first resort, and
yeah,
that's
but
why
over,
a lot of police have been retrained here because of that.
yeah.
Sorry, Chantal.
No, it's okay. But over here, we actually they have to do warning shots, so they have to fire at the just at the sky, and after a couple of things, when if the perpetrator is not listening, then they can do a disarming shot, and they can only shoot at a leg or something. That's it,
Well, you would think
to
that would be normal
incapacitate him.
training. Yes, like to make
Well,
them not
that's
like
interesting though. But the
whatever.
reason they always tell cops to shoot at the main part of the body in case they miss and shoot someone else. The other idea is if you
I don't
shoot in
know.
the air and the bullet lands somewhere else, it could hurt somebody by unintentionally.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what's better, but
I mean, there has been instances that's happened. That's the only reason I'm saying that. But yeah, it's really weird. I'm
but
trying to.
to be fair, you guys have a way more of an issue with the systemic racism and cop brutality. Um,
that
just
was my question. Yeah.
yeah, it's different over here. It is happening, but not to the extent that it's happening over there in the United States.
Yeah, no, of course, I believe that's.
It's mostly racial profiling that they are doing right now, and that's an issue. And I believe they are working on that. But the problem that we have over here is that we're kind of like we're in the middle of some kind of a drug route between Bulgaria, Romania, and France. So there are a lot of foreigners that just come over here and drive through, and that's when the racial profiling happens mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's different. It's way different.
On so the flag that's behind us, like on the panel, I wanted to give you some emphasis on the flag, and I just had it. Where'd it go? So the flag, Juneteenth flag, which is red, white, and blue, with like the two stars. The flag was designed by L.J. Graff. The colors red, white, and blue, or white, red, and blue, which mimics the American flag. The colors symbolize that enslaved people and their descendants were Americans. The star in the middle pays homage to Texas, while bursting new star on the horizon of the red and blue field represents new freedom and new people. In addition to celebrate Juneteenth, many would drink red soda water or strawberry soda and have barbecues. It's interesting. I did not know that. There's so much text involved.
What does it signify? Yeah, what does
That's
it
not
signify?
important. Yeah.
What? What does what signify? The flag?
No.
No, like the choices in the.
The barbecue and the strawberry
Oh,
soda.
I don't know. It just says that that's what they do to celebrate Juneteenth. Like that's kind of how it started. And when they started it in 1870, I think was the first time they celebrated it. They did it in Houston and in Houston at the Emancipation Park. Before it was Emancipation Park, obviously, and that's what they did. They had like a barbecue and had a party, basically. That's what they did. And then it disappeared for a while. And it wasn't until the civil rights in the 60s that it came back.
Let me check if I can. I'm not sure if I'm gonna leave now, but I'm gonna check because I believe we have
Hi, Charlie
something
Biden.
similar.
Hello.
I saw that there's
Hello.
a Charlie Manson on your screen, and I was like, "What?"
My friend Heather, she takes a picture of Charlie Manson during Easter, posts it all over Facebook, and says, "He is risen." And everybody goes, Oh, thank you, praise Jesus. I'm like, they're so dumb. It's Charles Manson. Why do they think that's Jesus? Like, people really
Well,
believe it's Jesus.
well, Charlie Manson and Joe Biden had a baby, and it's Charlie Biden up on your panel right now.
I see.
I love Charlie. But no, I didn't want to interrupt the stuff that was going on, but I noticed people were talking about like ancestry and stuff. But
Yeah.
I was adopted and I did an
Okay.
ancestry thing and I got back like a lot of cousins and some of them were like second cousins. And I
Okay.
had a few girls going through, and helping do a tree, but then they just quit on me. Um so and I know that my mom was 14 when she had me and she left me at the hospital. Um, and I have a background summary, but I think a lot of the girls just stopped doing it because my mama died. And, that's a touchy subject, trying to find another family right after my mom passed away. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So, and I mean, I said, well, Paige would be perfect to, help me dig. And they
Yeah.
started the tree, and I have no idea anything about it. Like, they put like colors next to these people's names, and I don't know
Oh, I don't know. I
anything.
don't do all that. That sounds crazy.
Yeah, I don't. There's like little dots right beside them, and they didn't tell me anything, and they just kind of quit. They got stuff going on with their lives anyway, and I don't want to interrupt them. But I know you're good at digging,
That's how I
and
learned to be good at digging.
yeah, and I said, and they live about 2 hours from me, and I know,
Wow.
yeah, I know where I'm from, what hospital I was in. I was the only baby there. I visited the hospital, but that's the extent that I know. And I called DSS to see if they had any of my records when I was having health problems, because a lot of the problems they said, could be linked to my genes. Just to see if I could get a health history. And I was not even in the system. I was just
What?
erased from the system because it was a closed adoption. And
Oh, okay. But does your state allow them to unseal it at some point?
yeah, but see what it was that when they changed from paper files to computer files,
Right.
some of the ones that were closed did not get changed over. And I'm not
That's
in the
like I
system.
think you need to sue the state of you're in and be like, you owe me some shit.
Yeah, I'm not in the system. I have all my paperwork. I just found it, after my mom died because I started digging into file cabinets and stuff. And I found my adoption stuff, that was a year
Okay.
after I was born, they adopted me and all that stuff. And it shows, that they went through DSS. But DSS does not see me in the system anywhere. Like I was just, my daddy always used to laugh and said I wasn't born, I was hatched. And now I think I really am, because there's like nothing of me. I have nothing, but I do have a background summary of when they adopted me. I
All
do
right,
have that.
I'm looking at the rights here because even though it may not be at that location, your state capital
Hmm.
may have copies
Okay.
because
And
the capital is supposed to hold all vital records
Hmm.
after like a certain time. So I'm
Hmm.
reading that adult adoptees of blank do not have unrestricted access to their own original birth certificates. State law seals the original birth certificate, and it's unclear how it may be available or accessed by an adult adoptee if requested from the court. While provision in law specifically requires the state register to supply an original birth certificate at any amended certificate to the registrant without restriction, it's unclear how this provision has been used or interpreted in the past. That sounds very complicated. Um, let's see. They did a new law. Okay. These provisions become effective July 1st, 2019, but only to adoptions finalized after that date. After that date? What? That don't make no sense.
And this was in 1982. So
hold on. The state register shall prepare a supplementary certificate of the birth name of the adoptee free of any reference or indication of the fact the child was adopted. That's already happened. By adoption, da da da. The original birth certificate and evidence of the adoption are not subject to inspection except upon a court order. However, a person 18 years of age or older who was born in the state and who has had the original certificate birth sealed due an adoption may, upon written request of the state register, receive a copy of the original birth certificate and any evidence of the adoption held within the original record. Okay, but I'm trying to find out what year, like. There's some states that never unseal them, and I think that's horrible.
And in the background summary, I have the birthday of my mother and father, but no names.
No names, huh?
And like I have like my grandfather had cirrhosis of the liver, so he's probably dead. On my mom's side, my dad was like 27, and he denied. He just wrote his rights off because that was statutory rape. She was 14.
Not back then.
Yeah, not back then. Yeah, she was 14. He was 27. And like his father owned a door business in Lancaster, South Carolina. So I mean, we could like, dig to find family owned door businesses. And my mom was a twin, and my dad had a set of twin brothers. So, right. And, so I don't know with this ancestry stuff which side is which because it doesn't say, and I don't know either one of the sides, So
yeah, we could figure it out.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I said,
it's going to take some time, but it took me about a year to get him an answer on who his dad was. But
now I could probably reach out to this person who's my second cousin and say, hey, this is me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that would definitely help. That's what I would do.
And because we think we found her on Facebook, but there's like 2 or 3 with the same names that
God
live,
damn it. Right.
Right, that live within, an hour from where I was born at. So, and it's on the line of North Carolina and South Carolina where I was born. So half my family could be in North Carolina, half of it in South Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
So it's a mess, but I did find, the birth dates of my mom and dad, but no names. And it'd be easier if we could find a last name, to go through them trees, because that could probably lead us to my mom or dad.
Yeah, see, my dad, his real father, he never knew. He was told for a million years that his dad was this guy, his mother married, and when he was born in California, because my grandmother was part of the some part of the army in the 40s, and then the father was part of the National Guard or not National Guard, but the Coast Guard or some shit, the Coast Guard. So he was born in San Diego at the naval base. Well, the guy that was married to his mother, he thought was his father, but she swore that he had died when he was 2, when my dad was like just born. Like, wow. On his way to the hospital, he died in a car accident. So my dad thought that his whole life. Okay, my dad dies, and I do the 23andMe, and I'm starting to do research, and I can't find this guy, but I find the marriage record of him and my grandmother, and then I do some digging and find out he never died. So wow. I'm like, well, he didn't die at that time. So then I look and realize, so my grandmother died first of all, my grandmother was born in 1922. This guy was born in 1924. They got married in February 6th of 1944. Okay. My grandmother died February either 6th or 5th, 1994. And that guy died February 6th, 1995. Is that not weird? They weren't even married anymore, but they both died right around the time they got married in 1944. So bizarre.
Death dates always seem to float around something with your birthday, don't they?
You know what? I will tell you that in my experience from doing Ancestry, most people die within 2 months of their birthday, either before or after. It
Yeah.
always seems to be the case.
And it's so close to the actual date.
Yeah.
Like if I was born on February 5th, I would die on April 5th.
Yeah.
It's
It's
so
really,
weird.
it's really weird.
So
Yeah. So, but, so like I tried looking for him and doing all this stuff, and so I found his sister. Now his sister was born 10 years after he was. So when she was 9, he got married to my grandmother in Florida, even though he was from New York. So I found her. She was living in a nursing home. I call this fucking nursing home. They put her on the phone, and I'm like, I think you're my great aunt. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I tell her that who this guy was, and she's like, he never had kids. And I'm like, yeah, he did. And I'm thinking she's saying this because she was 9 and maybe he never told them they got married. Right? Like, I don't know. Something may have happened and maybe he just pretended it never happened and just told the whole family. So I'm thinking this lady's loony and she's just saying that because she doesn't know that there's a kid and an ex-wife. There was a kid and an ex-wife, right? So I do more research, and I realize nobody has that last name in my family tree, like in any of my not family tree, but relatives that are coming up as genetic relatives. Like that name's not popping up anywhere. So I'm like, I'm thinking that maybe this guy isn't my dad's father. Then one day on Ancestry, because I also did my DNA on Ancestry, I go over there and I have a first cousin one time removed. And I messaged this person and I said, you are the closest person I have ever seen on my tree because both my dad was an only child and my mom is an only child to her parents. Her dad had 3 other daughters, but way before her. So I'm like, there's no way that, you would be related to me through my dad or my mother as a sibling, like a sibling's kid. So you must be like related to whoever my dad's real dad is. Because I knew, or my grandmother, but my grandmother was also an only child. She had step siblings, but she was also an only child, my dad's mom. So I was kind of leaning more towards my dad's side, whoever it is. And he made a joke and he's like, oh yeah. He's probably, my Uncle Bill, he had a winning smile and the ladies loved him. And so my brother had gotten his ancestry done on it 23andMe and I downloaded it to compare it to his and it was also very similar. And then he messaged me back with the DNA from his uncle's son that they did his DNA and it was almost an exact match to my brother.
Wow.
And I went, yeah, this is him. But before he did that, he sent me a picture of this man and he looked just like my dad, identical. And I said, oh my God, there's no way. Like, I don't need you to do DNA. That is his father. And I was like, dumbfounded. Now he died in 99. So I never met him and my dad never met him, never even knew he existed. But what's even weirder is so my dad had 2 other kids before me and my brother. One of them was in Oklahoma City and the other one, or I think maybe they were both born in Oklahoma City, but they lived in like Texas and Oklahoma, like right at that border. And he left one while she was in labor with her child for the other woman and then had a kid with her a year later, right? And then after he left both of them and he ends up being with my mom, so he was in Oklahoma and he was in Texas, like that area of Texas. Turns out that that's where his dad was living with his family after he retired from the Air Force.
Oh my.
And then after that, he did some contract work with the Air Force and he moved to Vegas. So him and his whole family moved to Vegas. So we had moved to Vegas way later in life. And then they moved to Oregon and Washington, which I both lived in Oregon and Washington. And I was like, it felt like that we followed them subconsciously. It was nuts. And my dad always he told everybody he was Texan. No one ever believed that he never said Kentucky. He wasn't even born in Kentucky. He was born in San Diego. But he, was raised in Kentucky. He swears that he told everybody he was from Texas. And his father wasn't from Texas either. He just lived there. So here's what we figured out. I guess before he met his wife that he had his other kids with, he was back home on leave. My grandmother was back home on leave, and they must have met at some point. The only problem is everybody's dead. All those people are dead. Like, there's no way we could find out.
Right.
And had a one-night stand. She got pregnant, and there it is. And their families did not live far from each other, but we can't prove whether they knew each other. And I found out that one of my uncles actually died in Pearl Harbor. Like, I had all these things that I didn't know. So I have all this family I never knew.
Wow.
It's weird.
Hey, did you have siblings? Did I miss that? Did you
I
have
do.
siblings
I have a brother, and then I have 2 half-sisters.
that you didn't know about, or you always knew about?
My brother is my actual brother, and one of my half-sisters I knew about. The other one, I was told she died. I found out that wasn't true also after my dad died, and found where they lived and where her mom is and all this other crap, because I found that all on my own. So my mom did not believe me that this woman was still alive.
I was going to ask you if your mother knew about it.
No, she knew about it. My parents had been split up since I was 12, so it's not like they were friends or anything.
Oh,
I mean, they were friends.
It was after they were married. It was after.
Yeah, those people were before she married him. My mom was my dad's 7th wife.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, 7. That's TV worthy. That's lifetime worthy. You could probably tell your story, AG.
So yeah, and then he married one other person after my mom, so he had 8 wives in total.
Okay.
He was a rounder.
Most of them happened. Listen, he married my mom when he was 30. Well, technically he married her when he was 33, but he pretended to marry her when he was 31, 30. He had already had 7 wives by the time he was 30. That tells you anything.
How many?
7.
By 30? He must have been a really good smooth talker. That's all I could say. Or a very handsome man. 7 by 30? I didn't even have one.
And I'm
I don't
here almost 40.
I didn't either.
Yeah, talk to your friends.
Yeah,
oh gosh, sorry guys. I thought I was on mute. I'm sorry.
In these parts.
So there was something I wanted to say. Paige is up here talking about, Ancestry and Ancestry.com and 23andMe, and she's so willing to help so many people figure out their history and their ancestry and their families, and nobody ever goes on a live and talks about, wow, look at that girl on YouTube that's willing to help all these people. I had said that in the private chat, but because I can't chat in chat, I'm trying a new technique. It's not working yet, but that's so nice of you, Paige, to just offer.
Well, thank you.
I just that really resonated with me, and I was no, you should charge people to do this, but you're no, I'll just help you because whatever.
And the funny thing is that when I was doxxed, I guess, or whatever, and they
I'll help
found
you,
my
Chantal.
seatbelt tickets and stuff, and I'm like, damn, maybe they can find my mama.
That's funny because Chantel said, I wish somebody would dox me so they could find my dad.
Yeah.
Right,
Chantel,
Chantel,
I have Prime and I will help you. Just message me and we'll figure it out. I will help you.
Okay.
At least with whatever you need from Prime or whatever. I will help
Well,
you.
the only thing, Meow was saying that a couple of years ago she got the 23andMe with
Off Prime.
with a good discount. So if it's
I'll order it and ship it to you. What's the difference, right? Or have it shipped directly to you, or is it weird? I've only shipped to Guam.
I have no idea.
23andMe does have deals, usually closer to holidays. The Amazon also does not reflect those deals unless 23andMe does, because it's just basically Amazon's
they're
just a shipper
sad.
of theirs.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
necessarily.
And
They're
But
not just
they're
giving the
doing
deal.
for $59
so
right
Prime
now.
Day. How much?
$59 for Father's Day. It's on
Yeah,
sale.
Oh
I was
yes,
gonna say,
Father's
and
Day.
yeah,
And
and
so
Prime
59?
Day. Prime
Yeah,
Day is
which
June, but Chantel, Prime Day is June 21st, so it may stay
Yeah.
the same. It may go down a hair, but if you need my help, just
well,
see it.
I will tell you this: 23andMe, it has two factors. It has the night normally $99 for like the regular DNA, which or the regular. It's all the same DNA. Let me take this back, but
Yeah.
for the part where they just do like the ancestry part. Now it's when I did it, it included it all because this was in 2013. But and then they have another half where it's like $200, right, or $199, where you do the health part. But if you just want the ancestry part, then right now I guess that's at $59.99 because of the deal. And you can either go to the site itself or do it through Amazon. Don't have
Well,
to do it through Amazon.
that's the thing. I was trying to do it through the Amazon, through the website from 23andMe, but they only do credit card or PayPal, and my PayPal doesn't work with
Oh,
certain websites.
so you can always send somebody money and then they can get it for
Yeah, I was
you.
gonna say,
Yeah.
Chantel, if you want to cash out me, you can cash out me and I'll order it, or I'll
She
order
doesn't
it through my
want cash
Prime.
out.
I don't.
you.
Yeah, Cash App is not available over here, so
Oh, what do you
we'll
have?
figure something out.
We'll figure it
I
out.
have
We'll figure it
PayPal.
out. I'll get it.
Yeah.
Oh, then you can PayPal me and I'll send it right to you. That's perfect.
Yeah,
All right,
but
we'll
I
figure it
do
out.
Would it
want to
be if
have.
Paige found these people for for all of us, and then she could do a live where they reunite or whatever.
Oh my
Oh
God,
my
I
God.
don't.
gosh.
I don't.
I
Could you
also said
imagine?
that I want to do a dating
Yeah,
the
but
dating game on my channel.
Paige, I thought when you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I am gonna find. I was like, Paige could be the Bachelorette, and we will find you a Bachelorette.
Oh hell
That's
no!
how
I
it
don't
should
want
be.
to hook up
Yes,
with nobody.
yes,
Audie
you
is
are.
that woman
Well,
that's
too
like
bad.
always going to try to get her son married to somebody. Like this is, I can see how this is going to be.
Oh no, my son's no. My son is gonna live with me forever in my basement. I don't care, and I'm happy about it. He's never getting married. I'm gonna be that mother-in-law. He's too
Oh
perfect
jeez.
for anybody. He's too perfect.
All
He's
I
already.
want
He's
in life
11.
is to be
He's
married.
11.
That's all.
He's 11 and too perfect. Now my daughter, I will marry her off as soon as I can because at 2 she's already
in
terrorizing.
kindergarten.
I
In
know,
kindergarten.
she's so crazy, but my son is such an angel. That sweet boy. He can stay with me forever. I said to my husband all the time, I said, if Max wants to live in our, like the joke, like, oh, they'll be in your basement playing video games forever or whatever. I'm like, that's fine with me. He can stay with me forever. He is the sweetest, kindest, most awesome little boy. He can stay forever. No, and
And
yes, I'll be that crazy mother-in-law. Or
and
whatever.
CJ is currently just
Do you
breaking
hear
down
her
the house
now?
again.
Yes, she's banging. Can you hear her? Yeah, she's outside with my
Mhm.
husband, banging to come inside.
Banging. All right, guys. Well, I'm sorry that we didn't get to spend more time talking about Juneteenth. I was really excited that it's a holiday, and I kind of wanted to go out and like go to some of the celebrations today, but it's the hottest day of the week, and there's no way I'm going to be caught outside. So, but I'm glad that I got to at least talk about the history and the flag, and I'm so happy that we finally got to have this holiday as an actual federal holiday. And maybe we can see more great things happen. And I'll probably go live later, but I need to take like a break. I'm tired.
I was just going to ask you, I was like, are you going to go live today? Because I need to talk to peeps.
You have a channel
Okay, good.
too, weirdo.
I know, but I'll go live, but I'm not going to do it if you do.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I can because it's so much earlier here. I mean, it's so much later here, and for you, you still have like the rest of the night ahead of you. So maybe I will. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's 5. I can't believe it's already 5. But yeah, I'll.
But you did an amazing job. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
It was interesting. That is for sure.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Audie's channel is Naughty Audie, but all one word. I can find it.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're not welcome. Oh man. All right, let's see. Where's this naughty girl? Well, that's not you. Channel. There she is. Ooh, you got 78 subscribers.
I know. I feel like a superstar.
Man, I mean, I've got, I think, 100. Yeah, like, it's amazing. No, Jill got it before I did. And then Candace did it. So your channel has now been put in here 3 times.
Woohoo! Thank you. You want to drop my checking account because I only take personal checks.
Oh, you're so good, babe.
Remember when Trashy was like, "Who still writes checks?" I was like, "Me, all the time." That's just what I
Right?
do.
It's so funny. All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming by, and
Thank you, Paige.
definitely want to. We'll talk later.
Yes, we will.
I'm so tired.
We can hear.
I bet.